Okay, let's close our eyes. And I always have so much gratitude because we can choose our perception. And then the perceptions that we choose, if we habitually kind of bring them up every day, then they become a habit. So you could notice maybe what perception comes up when you first close your eyes to have some peace time. And just notice the habit that comes up in your mind. And if it's not a habit that's serving you, like if it's not a useful habit, such as, oh no, more meditation, then you can practice choosing another habit. And it's just creating new habits. Having a perception of rejoicing and having relief, like, oh, good, another time to sit and allow myself to let go of the world. That's a good habit because it's valuing the process of stillness. So notice what perception comes up in your mind and notice if it's serving you well. Is it a useful habit? And if it's not, you can bring up another perception. This is also about training and choosing perceptions. Like grocery shopping, you don't have to always get the same things you always get. You can notice, is this serving me? Is this useful? Like junk food. Is it junk food for the mind or is it healthy food? A healthy attitude for the mind. So having some gratitude, some appreciation. Notice how that feels and you can see if it's useful. So I noticed that the attitude that comes up is useful because it brings a sense of rejoicing. It's an internal joy. And it also is freeing. It gives rise to relief because the mommy me, the daughter, the wife me, all these labels and jobs that I have, I can finally put them on break, on hold. And it's, oh, what a relief. For this time of sitting, I don't have to do anything, be anything, figure anything out, figure anything about finances or whatever, or health. You can completely give up, be on holiday. And notice that texture of mind, that condition of mind. Becoming more aware of our internal space and watering the flowers, not watering the weeds of our mind. That's one way of developing the mind. The word meditation is it's an English word, but it's translated also from an old language that, like Pali, which is a written form of a language, but the word is bhavana, which means mental development. So you could look at meditation also as a mental development. And a mental development is noticing the states, conditions of mind. And through this wisdom that the mind is slowly getting, you decide, no, I'm not going to cultivate states of mind which lead to tightness and lack of freedom. I'm going to dwell, notice, choose, hang out with states of mind that lead to more peace, more internal freedom, more ease. And the first step is really closing our eyes, sitting quietly and looking within. Noticing the general state of your body. And remember, we never criticize it, so we're not activating the internal me that criticizes and talks about the state. We're quietly observing, noticing. So noticing if your body perhaps is sluggish, tired, hungry, or energetic. Notice if your mind, is it tired, active? Is it light? Is it joyful? Is it heavy? Just noticing. Are there thoughts, emotions? Whatever it is, noticing. You could perceive the wind on your face. And wind, that's a different experience from thought, isn't it? And it's a different experience from knowing. That state of knowing, that's knowing the thought. What's that? That's another meditation altogether. Like staying with that knowing aspect. Like going into a dark room, we wait a bit till our eyes adjust so we can see shapes. The same when we close our mind, close our eyes and observe the mind. And as the mind settles, we become more aware. And don't think you know it. Like, oh yeah, that's just a thought. That's just an emotion. When you stay with the mind, it changes and it opens up. It's not like, what is a thought anyways? Do we only know a thought because there's something and there's change? But what if there's no change? Is the thought in images or in words? Is it a thinking? What if the thinking slows down? How's the experience of the thought then? So let's not be too quick to dismiss. By arousing a sense of curiosity and interest, allows that knowing part of the mind to stay alert and aware. And we're allowing the activity to subside. You may notice what comes up in your mind. And what comes up is what's important for you. And we could easily change that through experience. The more we value and choose the inner silence, that'll come up. So I noticed I became aware of the breathing, but it may be different from you, for you. And whatever comes up, the most important part is allow that controlling active part of the mind to relax, that choosing, that force that pushes you out of this moment, that causes movement or change, right? Change of conscious state from one to the next, to a thought, to a memory, to an image, or whatever. That force that's making change. Like, what's that force that's making change? Where is this all coming from? Don't look with more movement because it's using the same thing. You can't uncover the nature of that using the result of it. Through stillness, we allow it to vanish, and then we notice, how's the mind when that movement vanishes? And that happens by recognizing it's just movement. It's not yours. It's just part of nature. the way your mind was during the week, during the day, what's important, your views. You're practicing not buying into it, not identifying it with it, and allowing that movement, that change, that force of change to relax, but keeping the awareness. Because this tends to be subtle and it's easy to get caught off with activity that reinforces the sense of self. That's why it's easier to catch yourself getting caught up in thinking and more of the same by deliberately deciding what you'll be aware of, such as scanning the body, mindfulness of breathing, loving kindness, or all these different methods or objects, whatever you're aware of. It simply helps you catch yourself easier if you're lost in la la land. That's why we usually start with scanning the body, because it's something that's still changing and makes it interesting, but it's happening now in the present. Also, it has the benefits that by relaxing the body, it also grounds you in the moment and makes you more aware of the present, and also it allows the mind to relax. Let's start by being aware of our toes. Your mind may be relieved. Now there's something perhaps to be aware of. Or if it was already very subtle, then being aware of the toes is more burden to pick up. Whatever it is, we're still allowing ourselves to learn about this nature of the mind. So noticing the toes. Notice any sensations of your toes, maybe against your shoes, the coolness of the wind. Going up the ball of the foot, under the arch, the heels, being aware around the ankles, allowing them to relax, going up the calf, being aware of the knees, the thighs, Being aware of the bum against the seat. The hips. And all that area, your tummy. Being interested. Don't buy into the force, that force that moves the mind to be aware of something different. Because if you identify with it, that's endless. It'll always lead on to the next thing, the next thing. We stop and look back. Where is all this force coming from? But not with thoughts and words, but with that interest and awareness and stillness. More aspects of the mind vanish, and then you understand more. Not through a thought, but a more deeper understanding. What's causing all this movement? Maintaining interest and awareness, stillness. Being aware of the spine. And because awareness of the body also changes, it keeps interest. It's not super still because there's change in what you're aware of, but it's stepping stones. Being aware going up the spine, being aware of their shoulders. What's happening in your shoulders? Going down the arms, the elbows, going through the forearms, the wrists. And the sensations in the hands are very different from the rest of the body. Isn't it? The thumb, the second finger, third, fourth, fifth. Being aware of the neck and the jaw. Notice how releasing the jaw, allowing it to relax. Does it change the quality of the mind? Noticing all the muscles around the eyes, between the forehead. There's often tension, tightness between the forehead. By bringing kind awareness, you're allowing it to relax. Around the eyes, between the forehead, and allowing the scalp and all the activity inside. Pretend your brain is relaxing, so there's less activity. You may notice some more releasing, some more relief, some more spaciousness in your mind. And this feels good. And staying with that. Maybe you may be aware of breathing happening. What is that awareness, that experience that makes you know you breathed in and you breathed out? Just that experience. You can be aware, knowing you're breathing in, knowing you're breathing out. Breathing is happening naturally. Give in to this process, giving it a try. Allow awareness to be with the breathing, and nothing else matters for this time of sitting. You may benefit from saying a word along with the breathing, such as breathing in one, breathing out one, allowing the breathing to happen naturally, and you're aware of the breathing, not the main focus. The main awareness is that experience that you know you're breathing in. Like, how does that feel like? What's that sign that, that's an in-breath, that's an out-breath. Imagine a kid drawing something, okay? Some lines and circles. And then there's a moment when you recognize, oh, that's a car. And then you see it as a car. So that's like the sign of a car. You know that it's a car. If we're so totally aware of each experience in our mind, without labels or judging and without words, just aware of the raw sensation, so to speak, of this moment. And you're breathing in, you're allowing breathing in and breathing out. And then there's something that you know you're breathing in and you know you're breathing out. And you just stay with that awareness. And if you say a word, it's like turning down the gears of the car from fourth gear to third gear to second to one. If there's a lot of thoughts in your mind, like the past, the future, there's a lot of force that's making the mind think of this, think of that, then you can substitute, slowly turn down the gears by saying a word. It doesn't matter which word, something that works for you. If you say a word that points to the experience, such as breathing in peace, breathing out relax, or you can say breathing in one, breathing out one, breathing in two, breathing out two, all the way to 10, and then back to 1. I don't know if you hear the music, but there is some quiet music in the background. And the mind naturally may go to that just because it's there. But we can use that as an opportunity to learn about the mind and notice, how does it feel like when the mind delights in sound? And maybe a sound you recognize, but what is that delighting? And then when it's over, what is that condition of mind? How does it feel like? And compare that to a more subtle pleasure when the mind is at peace and at ease and free from picking up or wanting anything in the five senses. When the mind is content, not disturbed. And you can notice which one tastes more profound. I mean, you're not tasting it with the tongue, it's just which one feels more substantial. Sounds are endless. And I once, when I was a kid, played my favorite song over and over, and then I got sick of it. And that's just the nature of things. Imagine you're in a room and the sound is over and over and over and over. And then what's pleasant one moment will be irritating later on. So it's not the sound that, like, if you put a USB plug in you, that gives you the happiness or the pleasure. So what is this thing called delighting in five senses? And is it permanent or impermanent? It's impermanent. And whatever is impermanent, can we truly regard that as like a refuge? Like, oh, if only I can hear my favorite song for the rest of my life and then I'll be happy. No. So then if the mind recognizes that, then it doesn't cling on and grasp on to sound so much. It's like, okay, when it's there, but when it's gone, it's gone. And it's that releasing of grasping, that giving up, it's that allows you to feel a more subtler sense of happiness that is not dependent on hearing something, smelling something, tasting, touching, thinking, cognizing. It's by giving up that there's this, you tap in to something more resilient, longer lasting. And that's this process of going inwards. And then through meditation, this practice, we even give up even that. And then there's more subtle reliefs and happiness. And then we notice that too is wearisome. You give that up. And it's all this process of giving up. But it gets better and better. And it doesn't happen through thinking, forcing. It's just through stillness, and then the mind recognizes that what it's grasping onto is just shitty. So notice, just by being with the mind, how is it like when it's grasping? And notice if we're aware of the breathing. Can you still be aware of the breathing, maybe? Breathing in one, breathing out one. And you notice that the mind will go behaving according to its own nature. You can't stop the mind from listening. You can't shut off the ears. So in the sound, you can just let there be the sound without adding anything on top of it, without adding a story or I don't want this or I do want this or give me more or ugh, can the fuse be blown? Whatever, not adding on top, just in the sound, it's just sound. Like a chipmunk. No, we don't have chipmunks here, but a bird or not squirrels, but any land creature here would hear that very differently. It would just be sound. They wouldn't have the culture or the capacity of thinking. So how would a bird hear it? How would a baby hear it? How would a dog hear it? Just sound. And then sound may trigger a whole bunch of perhaps concepts and memories. We could use this as an opportunity to observe the nature of the mind, how the mind works. It primes perhaps different emotions, memories, thoughts. Perhaps the body may start feeling different if it wants to get up and dance. It's actually a good opportunity being aware of the process that we're so conditioned. You know, a song comes up and it completely determines how we feel, what we think, the memories. It's all just part of nature. And then there's that feeling of me and agency associated with all this, which scientists know that too is a construct. That feeling is just a concoction of the mind as well. But we ascribe so much solidity to it, just like a bubble. Normally, when we're awake and running around, we just follow blindlessly. But here we have an opportunity to tune in and zoom in into the mental processing, what happens. And isn't it like that for everything else we hear? Someone says something nice, we get all glad. Someone says something bad, maybe we snap back. It's just so quick, habitual, conditioned. Maybe we can try to add more space between when we hear something and responding. There's that famous saying, between, I forget, but we add that space between. So notice how you feel now compared to when you first came. And even if there's a little bit more clarity, stillness, less turbulence in the mind, maybe we'll be less like junkies of sensations. The ear, dance, so door. Maybe we can take that also during the week, bringing more awareness to how tastes affect the mind, sounds, sights, even thoughts and memories cause an escalade, like cause the mind to escalate, like to move and react. So just bringing more awareness